Hey everyone, it's Joe with Blakesley Acres. Figured I'd bring you along today while I do some frost seeding. For you guys that don't know what frost seeding is, it's just overcast seeding on top of the ground in late winter, early spring when you're still getting a freeze and thaw cycle. It helps. Giggles to run over. It helps just work the seed in the ground without having to rent tractors and tillers and seeders and a bunch of equipment that I don't have access to right now. So this is my first year trying it. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just doing like a cheap food plot mix that I found. I was gonna do a pasture mix, but it was $60 for 25 pounds or something crazy, and this stuff was on sale for 15 for 40 pounds. So I'm just trying to get diversity in the pastures for the cows and goats and pigs. So I think this has got some a little bit of wheat, oats, forage types. It's got some crimson red clover. I think there's a couple other things in the mix I don't remember. But yeah, I'm just going to be casting this out here on the ground and trying to get a little bit more improvement in the soil. Doing it this way. I'm also going to be knocking some of the high spots where I fed hay for my cows earlier in the winter, late fall. I put them down into the hay feeder later this winter just because I didn't want them. It gets pretty muddy here. It's more of a clay type soil. So I'm trying not to beat up the ground too much. But I was hoping to unroll hay this year, but I didn't do that. Sometimes the snow gets so deep it's not worth even trying that. So I'm going to try getting a couple of these pastures just overseeded, try to get a little bit more variety out here for the animals, and something that I can build soil health with. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing today. Hope you guys enjoy. Better get over there before the piglet's still on my seed. I see him sniffing around it. So by doing this, improving the pastures, getting some more varieties in there, just me mowing them and getting the animals grazing on them has made a big difference in the species. But I'm going to keep continuing to do the mowing and grazing this year, and hopefully I can get it to hopefully I can get it start coming back semi-decent. Just mowing and grazing the last 2 summers has helped quite a bit, like I said. Just trying to get these pastures growing better so I can get more forage for the cows. I'm kind of over on my stocking density on those. I wasn't planning on having as many as I do. But I had got offered some for a good deal, and I didn't want to pass them up. I might be able to open up some more grazing property elsewhere close by. I want to work on this year. Try to get some kind of a lease going or something. But for now, this is what I have. This is what I have to work with. So I'm going to try to keep on improving on it. So yeah, keep on working on this and get back with you here in a second. So I came down in this, I call it my extra lot. I left a lot of brush in here for the deer, but there's still a lot of good grass. I've cleaned out, you know, slowly down through there and down. But I wanted to show you this. This is what, I don't know, you can tell the grasses are coming in pretty good. There's still some remnants of goldenrod, but right here I fed a bale. You see the difference in the grasses. They're coming out. I fed a bale in here early September, I want to say, and just having that bale fed on the ground like that, I was supplementing my pasture at the time because I didn't have much, and yeah, that just doing the hay made a huge difference. And the pasture chickens made a heck of a difference up there in the front part of the property where I moved them. I'm hoping I can get the cows rotated enough this year I can run the chicken tractors through this one field up here, and possibly here. This is another one that it was just super overgrown. Most of it cleaned out. There's still some brush I want to clean up in this one. This one I'm going to frost seed, like I said. I think I'll fence the cows out of here beginning of April. Right now it just gives me a little bigger area to get out and move around, get away from that mud hole that's down there. Kind of come up here on these nice days like this and lay out in the sun. But yeah, I split these smaller fields up into just a couple paddocks, 2 or 3. Give them a day or so in them. Move them through. Some of my paddocks, depending on how busy I am at work, I only move once a week, 2 times a week. It's not ideal. I'd like to be doing it every day, but I just don't have all the infrastructure yet, and sometimes I just don't have the time. I want to get better at that this year. I'm hoping I can take the time a week or so ahead of time on the weekends and set at least a week's worth, maybe 2 weeks worth of paddocks up. But it's hard to do that when you're rotational grazing, because depending on what area they're in, you know, like my forage this year, some of the spots were real spotty. So trying to guess and watch it, you know, that far ahead, you get into a thin spot, you might not give them enough for the day, or you get in a really thick spot, they might have more than enough, which that's not too bad, unless they only have enough for like another half a day, and then they're bawling because they're hungry for half a day, but you didn't go and move them right away. So just depends on what my schedule is like and what's going on. I'd like to get them moving around more, and I do plan on coming back through and possibly doing a pasture seed mix also, but I'll just do it a thinner than what I'm doing this. Right now I'm spreading this at, well, I've used 40, 80, I've used about 100 pounds of seed. I've only covered a couple acres. I think the bag said it's supposed to cover an acre of raw tilled ground. So whatever, I'm spreading on a little heavy, but this is gonna be a pretty nice mix in that back pasture for the pigs. I was looking at the tag, it's also got some rape, that's how you pronounce it. It's got peas and I should show it to you guys. A little bit of ryegrass. So I've actually considered out in that field where the pigs turned it over, I've considered putting in some turnips too for them, some roots or beets or sugar beets or something. Give them something to root up and turn over. And I heard that from what I've read and stuff, those root crops break up that soil and compaction in the soil, which with these clay soils definitely pretty hard and compact, especially in the summertime. So all right, okay guys, kind of out here checking fence while I'm doing this. This is my original pig paddock here. It's just 2 strands, goes down over. There's where the main training fence that I started my pigs in last year, and the hutches and stuff are. It comes back through here, and I closed this pen back off, so I just started reseeding out here in this little field. It's kind of nice back here. We're not quite to my property line. I own up just a little bit farther, but up here on the property line, right there, out there, there's a few more out through towards the road a little bit farther, but they're hickory trees, and pigs did get some of those this past year. I'm hoping to start some more nut trees. I'd like to get some hickories, and I'm going to try getting some white oaks. I'm going to probably buy those in from somewhere, not sure where yet. I just unhooked a fence line here because I'm going to redo the fence that's around this pasture out here. It's just a temporary, all my fences are put up temporary because being new to the property, I wanted to see where water was flowing and not flowing, and lay of the land and stuff, try to figure stuff out before I put, permanent fencing up. It does make it harder. During hunting season and stuff, my neighbors are hunters, so I try to give them the space they need for hunting, and I also hunt. But right in here, in this back, right on this little hillside that comes off my neighbors, there's one here, 1 or 2 up there, and there's 1 or 2 down there in the first pasture. They're springs. I just reseeded this. The pigs they turned it over pretty good. I didn't give them enough time in there, but this field back here stays wet, so it's hard to get in here with the tractor unless it's middle of summer. You can see where it's wet and muddy and the water's running. Eventually I'd like to put in some drainage up here so I can utilize this for not just pigs, but hopefully cattle pasture. I did graze the cows in here once last year, just to give them something to chew on, knock some of this weeds down. There's a lot of ragweed back here, and just the ground being poor and wet as it is. This was super thick back here when I first bought the property. There's just a couple little 4-wheeler trails, but I just spread seed out here, and the first small field I started on is done. It takes a little bit longer when you're spreading it by hand, but that's what I got, and that's what I'm going to work with. But this field, all my fields end up like that, with just some 4-wheeler trails mowed around them. And I just super thick. And I cleared this section out last year. This section I cleared out the year before. And eventually I'm hoping to get all the way back to those red pines right there. Gave me, maybe a day's worth of grazing if it's good. Half a day if not. Definitely get me a couple weeks with the pigs anyway. So I'll end up fencing down along through there. I might go that way with the pigs yet this year. Now that I have the 3 breeding pigs, and then I'll have feeders also growing out. So I'd like to get them separated and keep them separated, just so I can free choice feed the feeders and breeders I keep on a regiment, so they're not getting overweight when they're not pregnant or nursing. And the boar I don't want growing too fast, so I'd like to keep him around for a couple of years. He's got a pretty good temperament so far, and we strive for hardiness, meat quality, semi-decent growth rate. Like putting them on a pasture, they're not going to be, 5-month pigs, but like some people get. I want the quality of the meat, the health of the animals, and the temperament is my biggest things I look for. I have, my wife and kids help me do chores, so I don't need anything that's going to be out here pushing them around, attacking them, biting them and stuff. Yeah, I got field frost seeded all the way down on the other side of the brush piles there. There's another field down here. I'm going to hold out because I let my cows walk on that right now in the wintertime. And that usually has some fairly decent grass. So I'm going to hold out on that until I lock them up. And in about another month, I'll lock them down into the small paddock. It's already muddy down there, so I ain't going to hurt it any. But I want these pastures to rest coming into the growing season, because growing season can be real short here. Last year it got super dry, and I ended up feeding hay, a lot more hay than I was hoping to. So I'm hoping the pastures come back semi-decent this year. And then it's my hunting shack. But out on the other side of those tall trees, that's my property line. And my neighbor down there on that hillside, he's let me, he's in his last year. Like I said, that's all, I'm going to also frost seed that. I'm trying to get it back up to par. A lot of goldenrod, some brush. Last year I grazed through it, went behind the cows after they came off it as soon as I could, because I do have to borrow a tractor still, and I brush hogged and cleaned these fields up. I used a poly wire. See, it's kind of tore down. I didn't pick this strand up. For rotational grazing my cows, I try to use steel for the pigs. I do plan on getting a better brand of poly wire this year. I'll be building more fence too, so I can rotate the pigs a little bit more. We got some thick patches in here yet. Some of it I'm leaving for the wildlife. Like I said, I do hunt. I like to keep some on my property, although I didn't hunt on my property last year, but my neighbors do hunt, and I try to be respectful of all that. So take you out here and give you a quick glance of the fields I have down here. A little short walk. Some coyote tracks out here. Check my trail camera while I'm down here. See if I get anything on it. Really hoping for an improvement in these pastures this year. There's a lot of coyote tracks. I should have some on my camera. They would be pretty cool. So I ended up cleaning out. The property line was pretty overgrown, so I cleaned out brush in this area so I can make a little gateway come out to the fields here he's letting me use. This fence row right down through here is the cutoff. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see without me walking way down there. That T-post down there, pretty much that ridge line, it follows around here and then this whole pasture here down, and then he also gave me a piece way down in the bottom down there, across there, to graze. It's super nice of him. Really appreciate that. Otherwise I wouldn't have the cows that I do have. Probably only have a steer and one heifer calf and the milk cow. Yeah, I want to get some of that frost seeded too this year. Get some more seeding and get it frost seeded. Excited to see kind of growth that it has this year. And another project I want to do, so I'm not sure how he feels about spreading manure out there, but I do need to get nutrients, so I'm thinking about building a small pull behind sprayer tank, just a gravity sprayer tank that can do compost tea. I want to try that out this year and do some compost tea on all my pastures and whatnot. But if you guys could go down and like, subscribe, share, comment, and click on that little bell so I can get notifications when I'm posting new videos. Thanks for the support, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.